straight up, move those hands in the air, those hands. Get that back stretched. Oh, that feels good. Now, if you're able, please, with doctor's care, let's bend down forward if you have room and see how far you can go. Oh, yeah. Without bending those knees. All right, stretch it out. You may be seated. All right. How many were able to touch their toes without bending their knees? Yeah, you're young. Of course you can. Not anymore. That's right. I even can't anymore. My gosh. I get on my knees, this is it, man. I'm getting nervous. This keeps up. Not only will I won't be able to cut my toenails, I won't be able to put my shoes and socks on. So that I guess where it is, you know what I mean? That's scary. I'm not very flexible. I think I'm like made of wood or something, like a tin man. I was never really very flexible, even when I was young. Unlike yourself, a young boy, I never really could bend. You know, I played sports, played games, but who am I to stretch? Let's just play the game, for heaven's sake, wasting my time stretching. Then in high school, okay, you're in a team, you had to stretch, but even that, I never cared for it, and I was never really good at it either. But now I said, boy, you better start stretching, because if you don't, you'll be stiff and unable to do things. So what's the solution? He said, well, don't panic if you can't stretch, it's simply this. Each day you work at it, right? Each day you work at it, and you stretch a little bit. You see, I can't do that with this thing. Anyway, you stretch and you gotta go as far as you feel a little twitch, that little discomfort, a little pain, right? Not great thing, but you gotta feel it. You just can't do this, that doesn't do anything. You gotta go now like, oh, there it is. And they say you just kind of hold it, right? About 10 seconds, you breathe in, you breathe out. And if you do that every day, little by little, right? You say, wow. So that's what the kneecaps feel like, see? Yeah, and you shift, and all of a sudden you become a little looser, you become stretched. And this series now, we're beginning the next few weeks, stewardship is called Stretch. Because we want to stretch ourselves. And stewardship, that church word meaning giving our time, our talent, and our treasure. I prefer the word generosity. This more come to understand the word generosity. And I want to stretch myself, and I want you to stretch yourself as well. How much is a little bit? Just a little twitch. Ooh, and stretch yourself to be generous. Right? And before we get that, let's look at our first reading today in the second book of Maccabees. Now, this book is not found in what's called the Protestant Bible. It's found in the Catholic Bible and the Orthodox, the two ancient religions. It began with the Greek translation. The early Christians at that time didn't know Hebrew, so they used the Greek. Anyway, so this is in our. These and a few other books. And it's too bad because it's very inspiring, very encouraging, especially what we heard this morning. All right? To refresh your memory, what we have now is 7 brothers. Right? It's a big family, 7 boys and the mom. There's no mention of a dad or a husband, so we imagine he probably is deceived. But luckily, mom has boys. And boys is the gift from God. Not just 1, but 7. And this took place roughly about 125 BC, about 125 years before the birth of Christ in that area, okay? Antiochus IV was persecuting the Jews. He wanted them to eat pork, which is forbidden, which means the denial of their faith. So you got these 7 brothers. Here, he said, eat this hot dog or we'll put you to death. He said, no, we're not going to eat it. We refuse to put pork into our mouth. And so that day, the 7 brothers, one by one, that single day, were put to death. It was quite gruesome. One, they just simply yanked and cut the tongue out. The other, they dismembered, cutting off the hands, the feet. It was bloody and savage. Okay? Now, I suppose maybe when the first brother went out, no, we're not doing it, and all of a sudden, boy, they killed him. They slaughtered him. You're the 6th, you're looking at this, oh my gosh, they mean business. Well, maybe we better think about this. Well, the second goes, and sure enough, he's not giving in. And they were fooling around, and they killed him also. Now there's 5 left. What do you think you're thinking? Oh boy, I can just keep my fingers crossed. Okay, fine, give me it, I'll eat it if I really don't mean it. But they don't. One by one by one by one. And I think what's even more horrifying is this, for those who are parents. A mom is there watching this. Could you imagine? That's your children. And you see them being slaughtered right before your very eyes. What would you tell them? Son, stop it! Stop it! Just eat the pork! No. She doesn't say that. She encourages that. Keep the faith. Keep the faith. So the 7 boys are put to death. Now it doesn't say what happened to the mom, but you best assume that they probably also killed her. Right? Wow. Talk about faith. And throughout history, God places his hand in a special gift. All right? A special gift of courage and fortitude to be a witness, to give us an example. Incredibly so, isn't it? Incredibly so. And why? Why did they do this? Not just because they believe in God, but they believe this. Unwavering, and they were convinced of this. That there's life after this. That's it. So you can kill us. Yeah, that's okay, because guess what? There's a life, there's a resurrection. But we're going to live eternity with God. And we have no doubt. So you can kill me. I don't care because I know I'm going to live. In fact, he said, you're not. He told the killers. So you guys, you believe there's a life after this? You convinced of that? Are you? Yes or no? Yeah. Convinced? Yeah. All right. We say, yeah, sure, but we don't usually live that way, see? We kind of live like as if this was the only life we're going to live. So we sort of be attached because this is what we see. And that's why I say stretch, because guess what? This isn't it. There's a life that comes. It's not like me. You know one of my favorite weeks of the year is the week before I go on my vacation during the summer. Those 2 weeks. It's not that week before, because no matter what happens that week, I don't care. That's okay. I'm on vacation next week. I don't care. Oh man, the air conditioner broke down. That's okay. I'm on vacation next week. You got to, another meeting. Oh, that's okay, because next week I'm on vacation. Would you mind doing another funeral? Sure. I'm on vacation next week. It's sort of like, yeah, I'm there. Yeah. And that's how we should live this life. That's okay because I'm going to be in heaven. I can put up with this because I'm going to be in heaven. I've read different explanations to people about the afterlife, what that's like. And, some believe there's no afterlife, that it's eat, drink, be merry, because tomorrow you die, and that's it. Well, we don't live that way. We believe that there is. Yeah, we still got to live as if there weren't, but there's one explanation. It may not be perfect, but I sort of like it. They said, what if we just looked at life as simply as life? Not like the life here, one life, and then a second life in eternity. What if just sort of as one continual life? It begins here, and it's just, some of it's here, and some of it's in eternity. It's just a continuation. So what that says is, therefore, if you live this life selfish, egocentric, wrapped up in yourself, angry, unforgiving, you're like a tight little ball wrapped around yourself, see? And so therefore, when you're in the next place, God can't get in. Your choices, there's no room. And therefore I like this because it takes God out of the punishing business. It doesn't have to condemn you to hell. You, by your choices, wrapped around yourself, are not open to God's life, God's grace. So you, in a sense, create that hell. And so and those who are generous. Well, if I'm generous here, I'm open to the next life. And that's why it's very, very important to be the more generous here, the more you stretch yourself. When I come before God, the more you take in. Well, that's what those saints did. They just stretch themselves totally, and the more they can receive. The more you open, the more you take in. And that's why I like to be generous. And generous even on a natural level. Let me take a natural level. I came across this little story about a young husband who has a terminal neurological disease. His wife is carrying his baby, which he may never live to see. So what he's doing is sort of write a journal, a little letter to his child, that he may know what dad is like and his mom with him. Let me read this. I want you to think about it, picture in your mind, because I'm sure you're familiar with similar situations. You've probably seen them also in restaurants. Anyway, he writes this letter to his unborn child. Your mother is very special. Few men know what it's like to receive appreciation for taking their wives out to dinner when it entails what it does for us. It means that she has to dress me, shave me, brush my teeth, comb my hair, wheel me out of the house, down the steps, open the garage, and put me in the car. Take the pedals off the chair, stand me up, sit me in the seat of the car, twist me around so that I'm comfortable, fold the wheelchair, put it in the car, go around the other side of the car, start it up, back it out, get out of the car, and pull the garage door down. Get back in the car and drive off to the restaurant. And then it starts all over again. She gets out of the car, unfolds the wheelchair, opens the door, spins me around, stands me up, seats me in the wheelchair, pushes the pedals out, closes and locks the door, wheels me into the restaurant, then takes the pedals off the wheelchair so I won't be uncomfortable. We sit down to have dinner, and she feeds me throughout the entire meal. And when it's over, she pays the bill, pushes the wheelchair out of the car again, and repeats the same routine. And when it's over, finally, go home, she puts me in recliner. And she says with great warmth, "Honey, thank you for taking me out to dinner." Is that amazing? Is that generosity? You know what's even more remarkable? Is that they don't think it's remarkable. Because I'm sure you know people like that. You see people in similar situations. They say, well, this is what we do. They give. They stretch. They give of themselves. You may or may not have heard of Albert Lexie. I just came across him on the news there. If you saw him, you wouldn't have think nothing of him. You probably just walk by him. Because he certainly doesn't stand out. He's a shoe shine man. He shines shoes outside the Children's Hospital in Pittsburgh. He's been shining shoes since 1982. He used to charge $3. Now he upped it to $5 a shoe shine. Then people give him tips, $1 here, $2 there. But one time he said a doctor gave him $50 before Christmas. But that sort of tip is few and far between. But you know, when he shines his last shoe and hangs up his brush, he won't be forgotten by the Children's Hospital. He left a legacy. You see, since those 30 years or so, he's been donating 1/3 of his salary to the Children's Fund for families of children who can't afford the hospital care. In fact, he has given every tip he received, every single tip, he's donated to that cause. He said, well, fine. A shoe shine man, what can that measure to? The hospital authority said in these last 30 years, he has given over $200,000. That's what athletes do with celebrities. $200,000. So how many people stretch themselves? They give and they're blessed. About a month or so ago, I was in the Adoration Chapel, sort of rambling thoughts, and all of a sudden I get this thought, this feeling, Lord, help me be more generous. And as soon as I thought that, I prayed, I said, oh God, no. No, I really don't want that. I really don't mean that. I said, oh God, not that. You know, I like to think, Lord, help me be more patient here, sure what that is. Help me be more understanding, yeah. But Lord, help me be more generous. Oh God, I know what that looks like. I said, just my luck. This will be the one prayer you're going to answer. Don't! Because it scares me. I don't want to stretch. And now it happens now. Whenever people who are very good and gracious to me, sometimes for service, they may give me some money sometimes. And now I always take it back, and now it's like, oh God. Is this for me? Or is this for somebody else? You want me to keep this? Or am I supposed to give this away? And little voice keeps bothering me now. It won't go away. Lord, you want me to stretch? Is that what you want me to do? You want me to be more generous? You know, generosity doesn't stop when we're old, it starts when we're young. You ever go to a baseball game? I did a kid when the Yankee Stadium. Big dream, hope that happened was to get a baseball. You imagine what a kid, imagine going to a ball game and get a real Major League Baseball. Like, wow. I mean, what could be better than that? So you bring your glove, you're sitting who knows out there in the boondocks, you can't even see the field, but you think it's going to come to you. Hope and praying. Anyway, I want to show a little video about something similar to that.
Our person of the week, sitting in the crowd of thousands at the Arizona Diamondbacks game, a 12-year-old boy watching the game, about to do something that would catch not only their eyes in the announcer's booth, but ours too. We couldn't believe what we were seeing. It was the fourth inning. A player tosses a ball into the stands. Two little boys wanted it, but only Ian McMillan would get it.
Oh, look at that young Brewers fan. Now, wait a minute. He is... Did he get?
No.
Oh, boy.
He is sour. He is sour. The Diamondback fan got it.
The announcers watching with their own play-by-play.
Huh? Oh, he's bummed
Are
out.
you kidding me? This kid's going to do this?
Oh, yeah. That is big time.
Oh, my
right
goodness.
there. What a nice young man.
Well, he's got a Diamondbacks hat, but we have to get something for that kid in the red. I can't believe I just witnessed that.
That is awesome.
You, young man, are a star.
Men are awesome.
The game would go on, Ian having given up his prized catch. But then a phone call. It seemed someone had seen his kindness on TV.
He's being told right now that he's being praised on TV.
Yeah, he's big league.
Late today, we met Ian too.
I thought it was the right thing to do. Like, I saw the kid, he was really sad, so I decided just to give the ball back. And my mom and my dad, taught me that way, so it's kind of just, natural.
Ian didn't leave that game empty-handed. Moments after giving that ball away, the announcers had a special gift for the fan, a baseball bat signed by his favorite player.
Upton autographed bat and a contract for the generous Ian and his buddies.
The box was really, really cool. I was, really surprised, and, I did not see that coming.
He's got good home training.
That's a very well-bred young man.
If you do good things will happen to you.
Reminding us all that often
Give. I found that incredible touch. Immediately, he goes, well, he's not here for it was natural. Wow. Natural. And even that generous, kind boy. And so as the next few weeks we call stretch. That we may stretch ourselves. Thankfully, hopefully when we like the seventh brothers we put to death, but maybe should be a little more generous with our time, our talent, and our treasure.